Welcome to the Technical Writing Success Podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. This is episode 164.
I'm Daphne.
And I'm Fred.
And today we are looking at a huge story.
A huge one. This was actually suggested by our producer, Curt Robbins. It's a massive media event that's really shaken things up.
It definitely is. We're basing our chat today on a review of the LinkedIn article titled, Netflix Won't Acquire CNN in Media Mega Deal.
And that was published on December 6, 2025.
Right. So our goal here is pretty simple. We want to unpack the key details of this reported acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery by Netflix.
And it's an $83 billion deal. We'll get into the strategic shifts, the pretty significant opposition that's already building up.
Let's start with the deal itself. The core of it is Netflix saying they intend to buy Warner Brothers Discovery.
For, as you said, approximately $83 billion. Though I saw some other numbers floating around at first.
You did. At first, there were leaks saying, around $72 billion. But once analysts crunched the numbers, based on the share price of $27.75, it lands right around $82.7 billion.
So $83 billion is the working number. It's just a record-shattering amount of money.
It is. But what's really key here is what Netflix gets for that money. It's the strategic haul.
It's the icing on the cake, so to speak. This really strengthens their position against, well, who's even left? Disney and Paramount.
Basically, they get the iconic Warner Brothers film studios, all their streaming services, and the rights to some of the biggest franchises on the planet.
Okay, so let's name them. We're talking about the entire Harry Potter universe.
The whole DC universe, which is massive.
And then you have classics like Friends and, of course, the real prize, the full HBO catalog.
That's the crown jewel. And the immediate effect is just a massive jump in subscribers. The combined total is expected to go past 450 million globally.
450 million. It creates a moat around their business that no one else can cross.
It really does. But what's also fascinating is how this forces Netflix to change its own strategy.
Yeah, this is the part I find really interesting. They always sold themselves as the digital-first, streaming-only company.
And now?
Now they're planning to maintain theatrical film releases.
It's a complete 180 for them. For years, they saw movie theaters as like an old-fashioned delay.
An obstacle.
Exactly. And now they're embracing it. It tells you they see the value in that whole traditional film life cycle, especially for something like a new Batman movie.
It gives them legitimacy, too.
Yeah.
Awards buzz, attracting top talent, all that stuff.
And another revenue stream. You get box office money, then licensing, then finally hits your streaming service. It makes the whole $83 billion budget make a bit more sense.
So they're buying the whole media machine, not just a library.
Right. Which leads us to the most, I think, surgical part of the deal, what they chose to leave behind.
Yes, the so-called cake that was left. They took all the studios and streaming content, but they explicitly did not include the legacy cable channels.
So we're talking about CNN, TNT, Discovery, HGTV, Food Network, all of that.
All spun off.
Into a completely separate company. It's going to be called Discovery Global, and it'll be formed right before the sale goes through.
And it already has a leader, right? WBD's chief financial officer, a man named Gunnar Wiedenfels.
He's taking the helm. And the reasoning seems pretty clear. The CNN chairman, Mark Thompson, he sent out a memo.
What did it say?
Basically that being separate will let them focus on their own strategy and their own digital transition without being tied to Netflix's plans.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Netflix wants the premium, scripted content. They don't want the headache of a news operation.
Or reality TV. It's a different business model. It's why that analyst Kunal Sinha had that great line. He said Netflix is eating the icing and leaving the cake.
The icing is HBO and DC movies. The cake is the operational mess of cable.
It's a brilliant move strategically, but it also might mean the end of the streaming wars as we know them, and that has a lot of people very, very concerned.
Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the Technical Writing Success Podcast.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why of the deal, but the road ahead for Netflix is not going to be easy.
Not at all. We're now talking about major regulatory and competitive roadblocks. The timeline alone is, well, it's long.
12 to 18 months, I heard.
If they're lucky. And that's all depending on getting through some serious antitrust reviews. Washington is already looking at this very closely.
And not favorably. A CNBC report mentioned a senior U.S. government official sees the deal with heavy skepticism.
That's putting it mildly. That's a clear warning shot, and the competition isn't waiting around.
Right. Paramount already fired back.
They sent a formal warning to Warner Brothers Discovery's lawyers. They essentially said this deal will likely never close.
That's a bold claim. What's their legal argument?
Their point is that letting Netflix absorb all of WBD's assets will entrench and extend Netflix's global dominance.
Basically, they're saying Netflix would become a monopoly.
In a way, yes. That the new combined company would have so much power it could just suffocate any smaller competitors trying to get started. It removes a major buyer and a major distributor from the market in one move.
The risk must be huge then.
It is. Netflix actually agreed to pay a $5.8 billion breakup fee if regulators block the deal.
$5.8 billion.
It shows you how badly they want this and how tough they know the fight is going to be.
And it's not just the government and competitors. The creative community is also up in arms.
Oh, absolutely. This is where the opposition gets really loud. We're seeing it from basically every major guild.
The Writers Guild, the Producers Guild, SAG-AFTRA for the actors. That's a united front.
It is, and their concerns are very practical. They see job losses from consolidation. They see wages getting pushed down because there's one less major studio to sell a show to.
Just worse conditions for workers all around. Fewer jobs, less competition for talent.
The Producers Guild even made a cultural argument, saying that these studios hold the character and culture of our nation in their vaults.
So they see it as a loss of diverse storytelling.
Exactly. When you concentrate all the decision-making into one place, you risk losing unique voices and perspectives.
And what about for us? For the viewers?
Well, the outlook there isn't great either, according to analysts. Ross Beness at eMarketer said flat out this is not a win for consumers.
Why not?
Well, just look at what Netflix has been doing lately. They've raised prices pretty aggressively, right?
And added ads, cracked down on password sharing.
Exactly. Now imagine they absorb one of their biggest competitors, a competitor with must-have content like HBO. What incentive do they have to keep prices low?
None. They'll have a captive audience. Beniz's argument is that it will just get more expensive and will have less real choice. The industry itself actually contracts.
It's a powerful point, and it connects to something a New York Times opinion piece said. The real danger isn't one company destroying another, it's centralization.
Meaning what, exactly?
Meaning you lose an entire programming philosophy. Think about it. The way Netflix makes shows is very different from the way HBO has traditionally made shows.
Sure.
When you combine them, one of those philosophies is going to get absorbed into the other. The market loses that diversity of thought.
Netflix did put out a statement, didn't they, trying to calm everyone down?
They did. A very carefully worded late-night letter to subscribers promising that nothing is changing today.
Today being the key word there.
Absolutely. The wheels are in motion, and it really feels like the whole streaming wars idea, dozens of services all fighting for your $10 a month, that's over. Netflix won.
And now we're heading back to something that looks a lot like the old cable TV bundle.
But it's all in one giant expensive app. The market is consolidating fast.
Which means for you, the person listening, the illusion of choice might become the most expensive product you buy.
And that really leaves you with a big question to think about as this all plays out over the next year or so. If this deal goes through and that unique HBO way of making television gets swallowed by the Netflix machine, what's the long-term effect on the quality and diversity of the shows we all love to watch?
Something to think about next time you see that subscription price go up.
Thank you for listening to the Technical Writing Success Podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition.
Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.